Hey, this week on Impact Marriage with Nick and Leslie Edwards, we discuss the 5 phases of marriage and why it's so important that you know the differences of them and how it makes an impact on your marriage.
Hey, welcome to Impact Marriage with Nick and Lesley Edwards. Excited to be here with you guys. Fun things, great things going on this week. We always try to be better. And I know, Nick, you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. You want to tell them what we got going this week?
Yeah, absolutely. We do believe that better is always better. Yeah. And one of the ways that we want to be better is to make this opportunity, Impact Marriage, available for more people on more platforms. So I'm excited to announce not only are we on YouTube, but we are also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, as well as YouTube as well. So we're on all those platforms. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Follow us on all those different ways. And then also on social media, we're on Facebook at Impact 320.
Yes.
And Instagram at Impact 320. Wow. All the podcast platforms under Impact Marriage. We'll have all those links this week on our social media.
It's so great because then people can listen when they're on their cars. I've heard so many people say, I listen when I'm driving, but for YouTube, you have to be up on YouTube, where this way they can have their map going and be looking at all the different things. So I'm excited about that. That's amazing.
All right. So we continue in season 2. And This was really a topic that you brought to us. And you're really great at bringing these topics and understanding the things that we need to be able to discuss. So tell me a little bit about where you came up with this idea.
Okay, so this idea came from, I was watching an interview and they were interviewing this older couple and, hey, they've been married for like 60 years. What's the secret to being married? And the man said, well, I've been married 5 times.
Whoa.
Thankfully to the same lady. And everybody was like, what? What are you talking about? And he just went on to explain that you go through different seasons in your marriage and they truly can feel like different marriages. And I thought, man, that is so true. As we've experienced different seasons, different phases in our life, there really are different marriages per se that you experience. So I thought, we kind of did some research in what those seasons are and what they mean just for life in general, but also how do you make them have an eternal impact? How do you focus them and not just rush through them and you turn around and you're like, oh my gosh, half our life is over and we don't feel like we made any purpose in it.
Yeah, that's really good. He's not talking about that they were married and divorced, married and divorced.
Not at all.
He was just talking about the different seasons of life.
That's right.
And how it looks different at different times, different stages.
100%.
Whether it's how long you've been married, how old your kids are, those different things. And I think you're right in that. You're not married to the same person that you married almost 23 years ago. 23 years ago. Yeah, that's this next week will be our anniversary. And luckily you're not married to that same person.
That's right.
That I'm not that same stupid, immature kid, right? And that we're better because of it. And so I hear often so many people say, you're not the person I married. Well, that's a good thing.
It can be a good thing if you're intentional about it and moving in the right direction. It can be a good thing. And you always hear the deal, don't go in expecting to change your spouse. Don't go in expecting to change your spouse. But I think it's so true. You can't go in expecting that your spouse isn't going to change.
That's a good point. Say that again.
You hear so often, don't go in trying to change your spouse, but you can't be naive and think that your spouse is not going to change throughout your marriage.
And you're going to change as well.
Absolutely. The different things that you face, different things that you go through can't help but change you. And the question is, are you going to allow them to drive you together towards God? Or are you going to let them separate you and cause division between you? And I think you have to be so purposeful when those stages happen. And you have to know going ahead of time what these are going to be.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how the two become one and that they are united as one. But the enemy always seeks to divide.
Yeah. And
so he wants to see those differences as opportunity to divide you rather than understand that we're to spiral together and make more connections and look more like each other the longer we've been married.
Yes. How often do we finish the same phrase or say the same thing? And just, you can just tell when you've been with somebody for so long, you begin to merge like them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I think also this is in Ecclesiastes. So it's not just a practical deal. It really does talk about it in Ecclesiastes, Solomon, the wisest person. So you want to read what kind of the first part of Ecclesiastes 3 says?
Yeah, it says this, for everything, there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. There is a season. So there's time for everything, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast stones away and a time to gather stones together, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, a time for peace, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Just so much there.
Yeah, it is a lot there. And I think that's what we've kind of looked at these stages of marriage is what are they practically, but also what are they biblically and what do they mean long-term for your marriage? How do you get the most out of every season? So kind of comparing and contrasting those is kind of where we're going to go with this.
Yeah. And just thinking about where we've been and how that's developed and changed.
Yeah.
And, we've gone through these different seasons. And do you have enough wisdom and insight? Do you have enough foresight to understand the next season that's coming and the season that you're in?
Yeah.
It's okay to be in the season you're in and to know the next season's coming.
Absolutely. And every season comes with great joys, but also hardships, like when you look at every different one. So what's the first stage that we would talk about?
All right. So stage one is the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Newlywed phase, just the joy of connecting and starting a new family, that you're not joining the wife's family, you're not joining the husband's family, you're creating a brand new family, a new opportunity in this honeymoon phase. It's where there's all kinds of passion and excitement and joy of new things.
Yeah. And you're really just kind of learning each other. You think you know each other when you're dating, but nothing prepares you like when you first come, when you're first kind of married and you're getting there. And it's fun. You look back on those times and we're at the stage where a lot of our friends have kids that are getting married and all the planning that goes behind it and the excitement and
all
just
the
it's not really puppy love because it is real love, but you just realize that it can only be so deep at that point. Just how cool it is.
Yeah. And what I realized is today, I thought I loved you with all that I was at that stage.
And you did.
And I did. It was just so little.
Yeah.
That my ability to love was so little. My understanding of love was so small. But today I would say I love you 1,000 times what I loved you 23 years ago.
Yeah. But I think also as part of that honeymoon phase, and you have all of that, it also, for the spiritual impact, is your foundational phase.
Absolutely.
Like it's where you get to set, this is who we're going to be as a couple in Christ. And I think so much of that happens during the wedding planning. And you always say, I love when you tell couples, you're not wedding planning, you're marriage planning.
That's right.
And how you plan those things and how you learn how you begin to make decisions together. It's kind of your first big decisions that you're making. Where are we going to live? What are we going to do?
It's everything from your budget, because most people don't have just an unlimited budget for their wedding. What are you going to spend? What are you not going to spend? This isn't her wedding, even though she's dreamed about this day, or at least in theory that she's dreamed about this day, maybe more than the guy has. It is y'all's wedding together, and it needs to be planned together. It's not for her and her mom to plan. It's for y'all to plan together. Now, you're going to take the wisdom of other people, but you need to understand this is your prep, how you'll make decisions, how you'll create boundaries, how your wedding day and your marriage will be built and based upon the faith that you have together. So where you go to church, how you spend money, how you make decisions for your future is so vitally important during this first phase.
100%.
So I've always said, and we're going to go through these, and with marriage counseling, I've always said that there's this 7-month, 17-month, and we'll talk about these different levels. But that 6-7 month in is kind of the reality hit.
Man, which...
Do you remember ours?
Oh, man.
I know you remember ours. I don't even have to ask that question.
I really do remember ours. I will never forget. We had been about 6-7 months married. The other crazy thing that we did when we first got married is we decided to try to build a house together. And if you've never built a house with your spouse, like
you've been married 20 years or 30 years or whatever.
It doesn't matter. It is a stressful, hard process that requires you to make a lot of decisions. So we were in the process of building that. And I will never forget coming back to our apartment that we lived in. And it had been a stressful day. We had had some fights. And I remember walking into the bedroom, sitting on the bed, and you came in there and you were like, what? What is wrong? What's going on? And I will never forget saying to you, if this is what I knew it was going to be like, I'm not sure I would have done this. you know?
Yeah. And I remember just the punch of the gut of that feeling that I have failed you. I failed myself. I failed our marriage. I have screwed up in so many different ways. And you felt the same thing. And just the pressure of the reality hit that life's not always the honeymoon.
No, life is not always the honeymoon, which really leads into what comes right after the honeymoon phase.
I think we need to kind of finish that loop, close that loop.
Yeah.
It took some hard work.
Yeah.
It took some getting some advice and some wisdom from other people to go, this is part of marriage. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's not honeymoon all the time. It's not always
big
roses and sunshine.
Yes.
It's big decisions that are hard. And how you communicate through this is really important.
And it's two people with different backgrounds. And we've talked about that on other episodes. I can go back and catch that, your expectations. It's two people merging two separate lives to create one life together. Right. And it's not hard. And every couple that we've talked to, we were the first of our friend group to get married. So we were the first ones that experienced it. But every single one of our friends that got married after us, we all talked about that. Hey, look. 6 to 8 months in, it's okay. This is going to happen. And I think there's just some relief that takes off when you know it's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. It feels like the end of the world when you have it that first time, when you realize, oh no, I've got 60 more, 70 more years of this. And this is, but it's not, because you learn how to do those things together. So,
all right. So what's phase number 2?
Phase number 2 is exactly after you have that, kind of leading into those next years, is the reality phase.
All right.
So you realize it's not the honeymoon. It's not all roses and sunshine. There's hard decisions to make. Usually between, 17 months, you say that first 2 to 3 years, 4 years, you probably start to have children. You talk about having children, or you experience some infertility. You go through some really hard times.
First real life change after being married together.
That's right. Real life change. And so either after you have kids, or after you've gone through hardship, or you're in the middle of hardship of infertility, or we don't know if we can have kids. How are we going to do this? Are we you are never the same person once you set your mind on being a parent, I believe.
That's good.
I believe that changes who you are as a person, and not in a bad way. It doesn't have to change in a bad way. But before that, it's been about you and me building this life together. And now we're going to bring someone else into this that we're responsible to care for. And so whether it's you get this heavier weight, you're responsible. I guess it's your responsibilities grow in this next phase.
That 17-month in, that year and a half in, whether it's a job change, a family change, or something like that begins to change the dynamics of our home.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is where it's so important that you really begin to clarify roles, clarify your communication, and have a shared vision for where we're going next.
Yeah.
And if you don't, every new phase is an opportunity to split and go different directions.
Yeah, it's so much harder. It's not impossible if you haven't built that strong foundation in the honeymoon phase, but if you don't build those strong foundations, every phase after that gets harder and harder, because you're not going to see eye to eye on every decision that you make. And, raising kids, job decisions. I have this opportunity for a promotion, but it means more time. It means we're moving. We're all the different things that come with that. I think you just have to process through differently.
And they become weighty decisions maybe for the first time in your life that you understand, and you begin to grasp the weight of the decisions that you're making and how they have a domino effect for future things. So having a shared vision, having a clear communication, and working to communicate those things. So at this phase is when so for us, we had that first kid, right? Or you at least find out you're pregnant. And I've talked to guys about this before, and I've shared this story with you that, and you knew this, and that was kind of obvious, but we were hoping to have kids. We were ready to make that decision, and we got pregnant very quick.
Very, very quickly.
And I remember you taking a pregnancy test and how you told me and my response.
Yeah.
So you remember?
I do remember. Yeah, I remember this. We were house sitting for people, and a friend of mine, I was kind of telling her, I was like, man, I don't feel good. I've got this symptom. I've got this symptom, all the pregnancy symptoms that you go through. And a friend of ours from church is like, Leslie, you're pregnant. I'm like, what? No way. Like, we just talked about wanting to have kids. Like, I'm not pregnant yet. It's supposed to take like 6 months, 6 to 9 months, right? So sure enough, we go get a pregnancy test and I take it and I come back and I show you and I'm like, it's positive. And like, I'm super excited, right?
And I just got hit with a Mack truck that ran me over. And it was all over my face. And it wasn't disappointment. It wasn't, I came across that way.
I was like, I really thought you'd be a little more excited.
And it wasn't the excitement. It was all of a sudden in that one moment of one sentence, I felt the weight of life. And I felt I am now responsible. I'm a dad? What does this mean? What in the world?
Yeah.
What if I fail? What if I screw up? What if I screw up this kid? And I'm not just screwing up my life and your life. I'm screwing up a kid's life. And I think for most men, there is women experience that joy in that moment.
Yeah.
And men all of a sudden feel the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're not excited. God has put it within us to be fruitful and multiply. And at the same time, you understand what it means to be responsible.
That I'm responsible. Else. Yeah. And I think that just goes to show the difference in men and women and what we've talked about. And that's why you're never the same person. And so much of this stage, I would say, is also about sacrificing. You learn that it's not what I want the most. It's not what you want the most. It's where are we going? Where are we going? And what do we have to sacrifice? You know, you can't live like you did on the honeymoon phase. You got a kid and they're really expensive and you don't get to, have all the money that you want for when you just played. So you're making some sacrifices financially, making some sacrifices of your time. You don't just get to blow and go, but you're also learning. You learn. It's so fun to learn and watch you be a dad. And to see you with the girls. I'll never forget being in the hospital and like you there with Michaela and you're laying on the little couch and she's sleeping next to you. And you cannot look at your spouse the same way once they become a parent.
Absolutely.
And it changes. It's that next stage that you go through. It is a different marriage once you have kids.
Yeah. So just a funny thing, we'll go to phase 3. Then you leave the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And they walk you to the door. And they wheel you to the door and they hand you this kid and say, good luck.
Yeah, we strapped her in the car and we were driving home. I'm like, they just let us leave with this child. I don't know what to do.
And we're driving from Baylor in downtown Dallas towards our home in Forney and just thinking, I will kill all of you people. You better not even touch this car. Don't get that close to me. And just the different mentality of it. And then all of a sudden they go, they actually just gave us this kid for us to leave with. What do we do now?
With this? Yes. It's very fun. It's a very different feeling, but it does change who you are. So that's the reality phase, right? Everything's different.
So now the next phase, so we've gone from 7 months to 17 months. And now the phase 3,
4, 5 years.
Phase 3 is maybe like at the 7-year mark.
Yeah.
So what does that phase look like? Or what is it called?
For most people, 7-year, I would say it's your resilience phase because you've got littles, probably have multiple littles. We had 3 under 5 by the time we were married. Our oldest was 5 when I had our youngest. And it's crazy. Life is crazy and life is hectic. And it was a lot of limited sleep. It was a lot of hard times, a lot of hard nights. It was learning to deal with toddlers, learning to do all of these things. It was difficult.
Yeah.
Physically difficult. It was just tiring. We just were going all the time. You're trying to raise these littles. You feel the weight of it.
You feel the weight of it. There's a lot of responsibility. You're growing in your career. You're growing in your life. You're growing in your marriage. You're starting to make a little bit more money and the world's also a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
And you feel the weight of all these things and it can almost become overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of just stimuli in life that you're having to deal with. And so if you're not focused on one another, if you're not focused on the marriage more than the kids, then you begin to drift. And that's where that 7-year itch comes from, right?
100%.
This temptation of looking somewhere else because someone's showing something that you're not getting at home if you're not intentional.
If you're not prioritizing. And I would say it is easy to get distracted from this during that time, because you do have these little kids that rely on you, that they're requiring your time, they're requiring your attention. And it is so easy to focus on that because you realize they can't without focusing here. And I think one of the temptations for it is for the wife to go all in with the kids and for the husband to check out. Doesn't always happen that way.
But he goes all in on work.
All in on work because this is stressful and I don't feel great here. And you go where you feel comfortable. You have to challenge that. You have to challenge, I would say, what your priorities are during that time. And you have to try to take action on that.
Yeah, the biggest temptation at this stage is for the woman, will you show affection to your husband or will it just be to your kids?
Yeah.
And then for the husband, will you be devoted to your wife or will you be devoted to work?
Yeah.
And regardless of what I feel at this point, we as the married couple have to be the priority. So this is where you have to kind of go back and rebuild your foundation.
Yeah.
What is our life of faith? How are we being faithful to each other? How are we working through our finances? How are we communicating with each other? How are we making sure that there's still a lot of fun in marriage during this season when everything else is pulling us apart?
Yeah. And just let me give you a perfect example. I try not to be on my phone when we're in here. I looked on this. Our kid is FaceTiming me. I don't know why our kid is FaceTiming me, but she is. And it's that exact point right there. Like, this is our priority. This is what we want to do. But there are distractions that come. There are those things. And you have to choose to make each other a priority in that.
Yeah. I'm glad you acknowledge that the kids are calling you while we're trying to do this.
Yes. It just happens. Life just happens, right?
Yeah. This is also the point that if you're not intentional, you drift. So you have to, this is a 4, 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there. Maybe a great time to go to some counseling.
Absolutely.
Go through a marriage conference, go through a marriage class, do something that you're investing in each other.
100%.
One of the people that gifted us early in our marriage, an opportunity to go to a marriage conference.
Yeah.
After that, we just made the dedication, the promise to each other. We will always be investing in our marriage. So we've always looked for opportunities to go to marriage conferences, stuff like that. This is a great season to reignite that passion, that flame for one another more than anything else.
Yeah. And you can't shy away from hard conversations.
Absolutely.
During that stage. You got to be willing to have those hard conversations and move through that.
All right. So stage number 4.
Yeah, it's coming.
The stage number 4. This is the chaos stage, right?
It is pure chaos. Trying to raise teenagers, do all of the things. They're involved in all the activities. I mean, every parent we've talked to this week, we have something going on 5 nights a week and we're doing this and we're doing that. And then we've lived that. We've lived that with our kids where we are doing 7 different things at a time. And
well, there was a season that we have 3 daughters and we were doing football 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
And none of our daughters play football.
No, we have girls, not football. We have girls, but they were cheer and drill and
so it
dance.
came with so many different things going on in life. And it's just crazy. And there is this opportunity to allow the calendar to own you.
100%.
There is this opportunity to allow conflict to come along with the calendar because we don't know what's the priorities.
That's right.
And so in the chaos, there needs to be more clarity.
Yeah.
And so I say it a lot in business and in life that we live in a very cruel world. And the reason we live in a cruel world is because we live in a constant state of chaos. We're getting pulled and torn in so many different ways. And that chaos comes because of a lack of clarity. And that there's this confusion about what's the priority. There's a lack of clarity that leads to chaos, that leads to just a cruel world that we live in.
So true.
That happens in our marriage too. Yeah. If we're not very clear on who we're going to be, it's going to lead to conflict.
And that
so good. Conflict will lead to chaos. That chaos will lead to cruelty. And we'll be mean at each other and towards each other because we don't have a clear understanding of our vision and calling before God and where we want to go for our future.
So true. And I think what adds to that in that stage is you have teenagers who are struggling with that same thing. Like that's so much of what teenagers struggle with
in so many different directions.
Is they don't know what their purpose is. They don't know who they are. The world is trying to push 27 different things on them that are contrary to what they've grown up believing, and it's chaos for them. It's chaos for you as parents. And you learn perseverance, I think, during that stage, and just what it means to be patient with each other and to learn and to grow. There's hormones all over the place.
3
Moms,
girls in the house.
dads,
Ooh.
girls, boys. Everyone has hormones that they don't know what to do with. Everyone does. And it's such an opportunity just to dig in and to learn patience and to learn we're going to persevere through this. And again, which is why I said it's so important to start having those hard conversations earlier, the better, because there's still lots of hard conversations. Our kid went to a homecoming dance last night. We had hard conversations before. We're not going to shy away from those conversations. This is what our expectations are. This is what it's not. If you get yourself in a situation, like, you have to have those conversations. But the same deal, they're pulled in every different direction. And
yeah, so let me give you a quick tip. When your kids are in the teenage phase, maybe it's junior high, maybe it's high school, that one of the things we've implemented with our kids is they can text us a certain question. I'm not going to tell you what that question is, but it's our code question. And if they text this, which has no real relevance to anything going on in life,
no one would know.
That none of their friends would know what this question means. If they text us that, what it means is we have to go be the bad guy and rescue them from a bad situation.
Yep. Hey, I need you to come home. We've got this. Like, it's their code word to get out of a situation.
Help me out.
Yep.
And so they don't look bad in front of their friends.
That's right.
They don't look weak in front of their friends. We get to be the bad guys and go, hey, no matter what, I need you to come home right now. I'm coming to get you right now. So creating some type of code word, some type of text saying, basically, I need out. Will you help me? And with that, we've just told them, if we don't need, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how bad you've messed up. It doesn't matter how bad you've already screwed up, the bad decisions you've made. It doesn't even mean we have to talk about it that night.
That's right.
We can talk about it another time, but we want to honor them and just tell them how mature they are for making a decision that they escaped.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I feel we are right now. It's kind of in the chaos phase. Our kids are 21, 18, and 16, and they're busy. The 21 and 18-year-old are still trying to figure out where life is, what's their purpose, what's their future. And I think that was so good that you talk about, it's about clarity and vision. It's about knowing this is what we've already set our priorities. We've already said that this is where we want to go. And I love your question because you always say you're either saying yes or no.
All the time.
To your future. Any decision you make, you're either saying yes, that gets me closer to the future that I want for myself, or no, it doesn't. And you have to be able to say no to those things that don't get you closer to where you want to be in your marriage, where you want to be in your family, where you want to be in your spiritual walk.
And, I think during this phase 3 and phase 4, where there's a lot of growth, a lot of tension, a lot of strain and pulling you in different directions, that having a good foundation, this is who we are going to be, is so incredibly important. It's also where you're always saying yes or no. And the question that you have to ask all the time is, does this decision keep me connected to my spouse?
Such a great point.
If the answer is no, then it doesn't matter what the kids want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the job promotion is.
Right.
If it doesn't keep me more connected to my spouse, the answer is no.
Yeah, which is why during this phase, one of the things that we've done, we've talked about it several times. We're going to continue to talk about it because it's important, is we have a regular date time.
Absolutely.
It's not always long. It's not always it, but every single Wednesday we go and have dinner and have
somewhere
cheap,
whatever.
somewhere big. Like now we're in a phase, all our kids are driving. I'm like, we can go to Dallas for date night. We can do, but it's so important to keep that connection to your spouse during that phase.
And you have to really decide, what's the state of my future?
It's good.
Where do I really want to go? Go ahead.
See what we said. We talk about it all the time. And the reason why that's so important is because of what season 5, that stage 5 is your legacy. What are you going to leave for the rest of your life? Like that is the first 20, 25 years of your marriage. But hopefully you, God willing, you have another 20, 40 years after that kind of chaos. And not that everything becomes easy, because it doesn't. It doesn't become easy ever. But what is our legacy going to be? What are we going to continue to live out for the remainder of our days? It's not like, oh, we're done. We raised our kids and life is good. We just hop on a cruise boat for the rest of our life, right?
No, because the role of parent never ends. It just changes.
Yeah. I've had several conversations with some ladies that have grown adult children. And I think there's this myth that once your kids get out of the house, you don't worry about them anymore. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
I don't believe that at all.
It's not. I think that was a myth. I don't know where it got started, but not from anyone that's had adult children.
This legacy phase is this empty nester phase.
Yeah.
And all the first 4 phases determine the success of what this phase will look like.
So true.
If the priority was work and kids and finances and fun for everything else except being connected to one another, then this phase is going to be marked by strain, pain, and divorce.
100%.
And we experienced this with a lot of our friends growing up that while they were in college, their parents got divorced because they were so focused on everything for the kids, they forgot to be connected to one another. And then they went, I don't even know who you are.
That's exactly right.
And so during this phase, we have to rediscover ourselves, rediscover each other, create hobbies that we like to do together, create opportunities to go do fun things together and invest in one another all again. And this is actually the opportunity to go back to your honeymoon phase together.
It really is. And it's also our opportunity that we get to give back.
Yeah.
I feel like this is such a time that we get to serve.
That's right. Because you have the freedom.
We're still being intentional about that. Like we don't have nights that we're doing all the things. And so we get to be involved in different activities where we're helping serve. You know, we were part of marriage groups and marriage conferences. And now God's given us the opportunity to lead those and to speak at them and to grow other people. So to me, it's also a time of giving back. Like this is what God has allowed us to do during this time. Let's give back. Let's pour in to other people because the race isn't done.
That's right.
The race isn't done when your kids move out of the house. It's not a race that's finished. That feels like the sprint, but then the marathon begins after that.
Because you're old enough that you don't sprint anymore.
You no longer sprint. Things hurt when you sprint.
So, but I also think this is, when you said that, it just reminded me that, you're in this race, this long-term race of what Paul said, forgetting what lies behind, I press forward toward the goal of the heavenly prize that you've called me toward. Forgetting what lies behind, I press forward. This is the opportunity to press forward toward the goal of the heavenly prize. How are you investing in kingdom purposes? How has the foundation that you've been laying and building for the years now come and actually reap a reward? Yeah. How do you experience new joy, new level of opportunities to serve, new investments in kingdom purposes, and being able to invest in your kids, their marriage, their kids, and you begin to invest in future things?
Yeah, it's very good.
What an opportunity to see these 5 phases as opportunities for growth or opportunities for struggle. Yeah. And that's what they are. Each point is an opportunity to grow closer together, to lean in on each other, no matter how much the pain, no matter how much the struggle. I lean in together or we pull apart. And the goal has to be to press forward toward the heavenly prize, and that is together.
100%. And you have to be intentional every step of the phase. And the great thing is, you may look back and you're like, man, we missed it. We missed it in this phase before.
Plenty of times I've looked back.
And it is. But I think what that gives us is you start from where you are.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
So what now?
That's exactly right. If you're in the teenage phase and you don't feel like you've laid good foundations, that doesn't mean you don't get to do that moving forward. Yep. Like you can say, you set the stage. Hey, from this point forward, like this is how we're going to live as our family. Not that it's going to be super easy from there, but every stage can be transformed to live towards God, to live towards serving Him.
Absolutely.
At any day, at any time. You just have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the goal is to always be better.
Yes.
And at each phase, I'm better because
better is always better.
Hey, thank you for joining us for another week of Impact Marriage with Nick and Leslie. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow, and share this on all the social media platforms. We look forward to helping you continue to grow, take your next step, and always be better.